Hey guys, welcome back to a little bit of Dave TV. So I was just straightening up my apartment, cleaning up, making it look pretty, making it look nicer, more presentable. And I had all my planes sitting out on my bed, and I was like, wow, man, they just really look pretty cool all together. So I took them out and put them out here on my kitchen floor so that I could see them all together. And I was like, shit, I'll just put it on YouTube. Why not? People like these things. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about a couple of them in particular, just so that I can help you out with a few things if you decide to get these particular planes. I've already flown them all, so I've already seen what the issues are with each one. And if I can help you guys in any way try to figure out those issues, then I'll put it on YouTube to help you out, so that when you get your new plane, you're like, oh man, Dave said that I should probably do this. I should probably do this so that I don't have that same problem that Dave had. All right, well, that's what I'll talk about. I did recently switch from a Tactic 403 to a Tactic 650 6-channel. I just wanted to be able to program each plane in. That's really the reason why I got it. Not that I was going to fly more channels or anything like that. I like these smaller EDFs. They do just fine for me. But the reason for is that every time I use this one, I would have to set it up and reverse the sticks and reverse this and reverse that. And if you didn't do that and you accidentally threw your next plane up in the air without changing the sticks, then down would be down and up would be up. And unfortunately, with my Sabre, I did that, and she came down pretty lovely on the nose. Not bad though. Actually the orange tape's not there hiding anything. It's actually there for a reason. All my planes will have orange. This one I just got, so it doesn't have it, but all my planes have orange on them in that particular spot, so I can tell where the nose is in the plane in the air. I would suggest maybe you guys do that too. I know you're like, oh, I don't want to put anything on my new model. Well, you don't want a crash model either. So if you can't tell the orientation in the sky, you're screwed. That's all there is to it. And trust me, with the camouflages that are on these planes in particular, it's really hard to tell which way the plane is coming or going, except for that MiG, because of that big red tail. I always know which way it's going. The Sabre's kind of tricky too, because of all the yellow stripes. You're like, oh, look at that. But the bottom has all those yellow stripes too. So it's good to just know what side of the plane you're looking at all time. So I'll go over these a little bit with you. Having the new remote where I can program each plane in individually, and all I have to do is select that model, and then all my setups are already there. All my trims are already set in. Everything's all ready to go. That's a plus. I'm actually about ready to go maiden my remote. I don't know if that even makes sense, but maiden my remote. Take it out for its first time. I didn't do any of the adjustments to it yet. I didn't stiffen up the sticks over here yet. I did take it apart because I bought this one used. He said it was brand new, but it's used, because the ring here to hold this switch up through the plastic is gone. I actually had to go in there and secure it from the inside with good old-fashioned Gorilla Glue. So that ain't going nowhere. She's in there pretty good. Yeah. And then go over the planes a little bit with you. I have flight videos on all of them. Let's start with the F-35. It's my favorite 50mm plane right now. I did have an F-22 Raptor, but I destroyed it. It was my first EDF ever, and I destroyed it. Let's just say that it didn't turn out well for me. It was completely different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought when you push left on the stick, the plane would go left. I thought when you pushed right, it would go right. And you guys all know that that's not going to cut it. So all that did was make the plane roll over violently. It crashed. I was able to fix it the first time, and then the second time, the prop flipped off or popped off or something happened, and it hit the wires. And all the blades broke off. It cut the servo wires, and the thing went nose dove into the ground, and it was over. It was over for that plane. It crushed it all the way halfway up through the fuselage. Then they replaced it with this F-35. They're like, oh, well, we'll give you a brand new plane and an engine, and you just take out all the old stuff from your old plane. They didn't send me new servos, and they should have because it cut the servo wires. I actually had to go out and get new servos and put them in. But anyways, the F-35, just a little suggestion, put some tape here and some tape here. I got silver because it matched the plane pretty well. These will start ripping after a while because that servo end is right here, and it doesn't push up on the wing evenly, so it actually starts bending here, and then it'll start tearing right here. So I put that tape on there so it wouldn't do that. This one hadn't started tearing yet, and I did it, and no tear in it still. To this day, there's no tear in it. The elevators, you see I have some black tape here, right? Well, that's because these things will oscillate violently. These elevators will oscillate violently up and down. And if you try pulling like a backflip or something, they start fluttering so much that the plane just starts rolling to the ground violently. And sometimes it's hard to pull out of it. You just have to cut the throttles and let it coast to the ground. Ever since I put that tape on there and stiffened that up, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. It's actually done really well. The Sabre, a little upset right now about the Sabre. The ESC is not responding to the remote. The throttle is not responding to the remote. The servos are all working correctly. All that's working. Everything's already programmed into the remote. But the ESC, when I apply throttle, it's not powering the engine. I checked all my connections. I even unplugged them and plugged them back in and looked at the motor. The motor's fine. I haven't run that plane wide open ever yet, so it might have just been a bad ESC. So I got on I filled out a ticket with Motion RC and woke up this last night. I did that last night. Woke up this morning and they said that they were already shipping it out. So I got a brand new ESC coming for that. All right. Now, the rest of the planes do good. The MiG and the F-22. I can't say enough about the F-22. That's the Freewing F-20. That's the 4S model. Takes a 4S battery. I've got a really nice Pulse 4S battery that I use for it, and it just cranks. I haven't ran that thing wide open. Last night, it was flying faster than any of these planes do, and I was only at half stick. The MiG, it's a MiG. It's great. All the MiGs are good. You guys know that. MiGs are awesome. The pack. I want to talk to you a little bit about the pack before I stop this video. The landing gear on it, they're too short, man. They're too short. And if you're taking off on grass, it just doesn't promote enough lift underneath the plane to get it off the ground. And by the time you do get it off the ground, you banged it up so much because it's so short to the ground with what they have on there for landing gear. It actually ripped the tip off of my freaking elevator here. I actually have it. I got to glue it back on or tape it back on. This plane has done nothing but drive me crazy. I want to fly it so bad, but where I have to fly around here due to regulations and shit like that, you guys know all about that, that's the only place that you can really go fly. So longer landing gear, that's what I'm going to get for this one. And then we're going to take her back out. Because this one in the same field with longer landing gear, it took off like nothing. Like nothing. It just took right off. It was like nothing. It was great. But I just figured I'd lay them all out for you guys, let you guys see them. I like to look at my planes. I like admiring them. They're really nice, and I love flying them. So I'm gonna cut this video down now. Hope you guys liked it. Later.